Julian Marquez.
What up, what up?
Absolute pleasure to meet you, man.
Likewise, man. It's a fun time being here.
Yeah, it's cool because you have a real passion for this game, and I don't think a lot of people who might know you from the UFC fighting and your we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
The world you live in, but at the same time, you have a great passion for this game. I know you just a little bit now, and I've heard you talk about it, and it's impressive as hell how much you actually know about the game. You've been throwing discs since 2006, which I didn't know today. I thought it was like one of those right around 2021 when everyone else started picking up discs. You were way ahead of that curve.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, started in 2006, like I told you off camera. It was just a way to get out and smoke and drink, like we're just trying to have fun. We're kids.
Right.
And,
for sure.
Over the years off and on, I picked it up even more once I met everybody, like in 2020, once I started meeting everybody and then going in there, and then pandemic helps you throw that out as well.
Right.
But yeah, you got to also remember when I tore my arm out too, I wasn't able to play from 2018 till 2020. So
yeah, for those that might not know, do you want to walk down what happened to your shoulder? And
yeah, we could throw it out. So in 2018, I was fighting Alessio Di Chirico, and in that fight, I threw a punch, and the punch extended further than my arm would allow. So I ended up ripping the tendon, my lat tendon that connects to my arm. I ripped it right off the bone, and I felt it snap in there. So my arm was completely gone. It's the same thing as a pitcher. A pitcher does this, and the only time you see it is when they're throwing a fastball and their arm overextends beyond their reach. And it snapped the arm, and I finished the fight, but my arm was hanging low. Like I had no pull motion. I could push, but I just couldn't pull anything. And we found out I had to have surgery, and then one surgery led into another to where it isolated my arm for 6 months. I developed adhesive capsulitis, which is frozen shoulder, and I wasn't able to throw. I wasn't able to pull my arm. Wasn't even able to grab the cereal box on top of the refrigerator with my right arm. So it was stuck like this for years. And then once it started becoming free, and I was able to start moving it and utilizing it more, I started playing disc golf again just to get outside and get some vitamin D,
That's incredible. Everyone can pull a muscle. Everyone probably has pulled a muscle. You break a bone, you're back. You rehab it. You're back in a couple of months. I can't imagine mentally what that's like for years of recovery. How hard that would be to get through.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. Like your mind goes to places that you typically don't want to be in.
Right.
Your environment changes. Your everything is tough, and it's a constant battle. And like having the belief that you're going to be back doing what you love is all that matters. And you have to focus on that regardless of what your mind presents to you, what thoughts come across your brain. Like you have to continuously believe like I'm going to get there. And you have to do it. In 2 years of that, you couldn't tell you how many thoughts that went through my head. A typical person has about 80,000 thoughts go through their head in a day. So if you times that by 2 years worth, there's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, and not all of it's positive. But you just got to keep on believing, man. Like, this is who I am. This is where I wanted to be. And that's the slogan I stuck with throughout my whole life. It was that injury was part of the process of getting me to where I need to be and who I need to become. Was that injury. Everything in life gave me a reason and a purpose to overcome it so I can get to the next level.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's great having you back in the fight world. It's great having you back throwing discs.
Yes.
So that's cool.
It is great.
And I've seen you throw them, and you can throw them.
Well, we're learning. If I could throw them, I can throw them. It's just aiming. And then getting the nose angle.
Detail.
I don't know if you guys know this. They brought me here, and we're throwing this tech disc. And they don't understand this. I'm a competitor. So I hit a number, and then I just was like, all right. I had a conversation with Adam Hammis one day. He was throwing a tech disc or something, and he was saying, I think he hit over 70 something. I was like, I'll beat that. He goes, you won't even get 65. So then that's why, as you guys saw, I was like, I have to break 65. I have to break 65. And I didn't. I got, what's my fastest time?
64. It's 63.8.
64.4. So, yeah, I didn't get it, and he was correct. So, we're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
But it was a game. I threw probably like 30 shots.
Oh, more than that.
But
What's amazing is anyone that throws 10 is usually they're done. Like their arm just won't go. You're gonna peak out like that fifth, whatever that number is. You're gonna peak out at 10.
oh,
You
man.
actually got stronger. You went into 20 and you went up to 60, 62, 63.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I had a goal in mind. I wasn't going to leave here. And to the point, I don't know if you guys know this, my hair is all messed up because I've been sweating profusely. You can't really tell, but my shirt's all wet. Yeah.
Julian came in to have a conversation with us, and he ended up having a full workout after having a full workout at the gym all day. So you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for opening up another fitness workout for me. And now I'm addicted, by the way. If you guys sell the tech disc, let's
Well, that's
let them
really
know.
cool. That's really cool that you say that because we think it's the future of, like, I saw it happen in golf where you used to pick golf clubs off the shelf and go play.
Yeah.
And now you go in, you get a simulator, and there's all this data that gets through these golf balls and through these devices that capture the spin rate of the ball leaving. And it's all sort of the same.
Oh.
So the sport's now coming up to what they're doing with golf and how it changed golf. And
Absolutely.
And you got a little taste of that today.
Yeah, when I worked at Top Golf for a long time.
Did you really?
Yeah, so 2014 to 2020.
All right. So
13 to 2020.
What's your longest drive?
I don't know. On there, I think I hit like,
The net?
almost 300 yards.
Yeah.
Well, on the virtual deal, I've never gone to the golf course, but one time in like 2010. I'll never golf. I'm not a golfer, but I'm a Top golfer. I'll destroy anybody at Top Golf. I spent years in that game where I know all the tricks and trades to that. But
well, if tonight's any indication, we'll throw up some video of what happened tonight.
Go right ahead.
You are the tenacity shows.
I'm ready. I'm ready to. Look. Adam Hammis told me I wouldn't break 65, and I'm breaking 65, and then I'm gonna send him a picture and a video.
Yeah.
And tell him to eat it.
There you go. Adam Hammis, here it comes. I only think you're probably one or two tech disc sessions away from doing that. Your angle was getting better because where you started up, your angle was high, and then by the time you were done, it was almost flat.
That's like the craziest thing,
right?
Is that I don't know what I don't know, right?
Right.
It's the truest statement ever.
Right.
But like when I was throwing out on the course or anywhere, I have no clue. And then you guys are giving me numbers, and then you're then coaching me to figure this out. And then like I'm doing everything you're saying, but the tech disc is saying I'm not even throwing 210 feet, which is a lie. But whenever like you started getting the numbers and I started understanding where it was and your guys' coaching, I saw it rise up more and more. Again, we pulled back the power because with power there's no accuracy.
Right.
So we pulled back the power and then we started getting better results, which is very interesting.
It is, isn't it? Because you can work your angles a little bit better when you slow it down, and then you can creep that speed sort of back into it after you get that feeling.
Yeah.
But it takes reps.
A lot of reps.
Anything else, it just takes reps. So we asked you to bring your bag in. Appreciate you doing that. It's a pretty cool bag too, by the way.
Dude, it's awesome. This is this new series that Discraft and Paul Macbeth and Grip did is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like the colors too. It's like he likes the sports cars, and I think you mentioned that before. It kind of looks like it. It does, doesn't it?
You're thinking like it's a high-end style. Like you could put it as like a Bugatti with a black Bugatti with a red interior. You could put it in McLaren.
Yeah.
Like it looks like the typical car that you would get, and
it's got a vibe.
It does.
It totally does.
He has the interchangeable, so I didn't change all of them, which these zipper ties. You can change them from red or you have black.
Oh, that's
when it's
cool.
all black, it's cool, but the red makes it pop, For
sure.
But this bag is literally it has everything you need, right? You have your ability to stack in all your discs here. You have your putter slots at the top. You have another pocket in here for miscellaneous. You have your rangefinder in here. You have water bottle sides on each one of them. You have the ability to add more pillow on the back if you need.
Lumbar
a
kind
little
of thing?
lower lumbar style.
Nice.
Then you have everything like pin. What do you call it? Like pin sleeves? You have an umbrella sleeve on one side. You have maybe just another sleeve, whatever you want for your pull or your pull to get your disc back, whatever that thing's called.
Yeah, the retriever.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Sometimes we forget about it. I just
So that
threw
your
a
phone
lot.
could go in here too, eh?
Yeah, you have your phone pockets. You have, and then inside here, inside the front,
That's a lot
you
of room.
put
It
a
actually
lot.
expands. Oh, that's trippy.
So it's everything. It's everything you're going to need when you're on the disc golf course. Now, like if you're playing, like we said this earlier, if you're playing out here in Arizona, you don't really need a massive bag. You can go with a smaller version. You don't need a lot of discs. But if we're going to, somewhere in Kansas City, somewhere like, for instance, the last tournament they were at this past weekend. You're going to need a lot more discs so you can have the different types of approaches, the different types of drives, variables for the wind. Well, out here in AZ, you really can throw big hyzers left and right. You don't need a lot of technical discs.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah, and they were in Nashville last weekend and Jonesboro the week before, where they've got to shape shots in a way where you can't always count on the 10 discs you might really only need here in Arizona, to your point.
Oh, yeah.
You might want 20 there to be able to manage through the woods.
Oh, yeah.
The woods. We just don't have
that
type of wood golf until you get up to Flagstaff. Then it's...
See, I got to go out there. When I was in in Kansas City, this bag would be awesome. Like, I haven't been out there, but like I have more spots. You can put 2 discs at the top sleeve here.
Oh, wow.
If I want to be cool, I can still interchange my zip ties. I can interchange my grip logos, my Paul Macbeth stamp here. Like everything you would want in a bag if you're an actual professional or a touring person, because it has all you need. Backside, big lower lumbar, like I talked about there. Like, what more do you want? But I don't really have a rangefinder. Ricky has it in the back of his truck. So, I was hanging out with him, and I guess it fell out. And
Ricky, can you send it back?
Yeah, he probably won't.
No,
he won't. I told him, don't lose it.
Well, he'll be back in October. So.
Don't lose it. Maybe, yeah. I think they're expensive as hell.
And then you see him on the course, and he's got yours. He's using.
I'll laugh. Well, I bought the ghetto version rangefinder. Yeah. So I went to a hunting store.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where to go grab a rangefinder at.
That's a good place.
So I went to the hunting store, and then all I knew is that Bushnell was all across every single disc golf. Commercial or everything. So I'm like, all right. So I bought a Bushnell, but it works, but not as the best disc golf. I think it's for hunting.
Yeah.
But it works for what it needs to. And let's be honest, between you and I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Why did I buy it?
Yeah.
I just bought it because I just wanted it.
Can I tell you, I think in golf, it slowed the game down, and I really learned to hate it. Because everyone had to go, okay, this is 150 yards from the pin. And there's a marker in the center of the fairway. And if you play golf at all, you can vibe 150 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so I've seen people 100 feet away from the pin and go like this.
Yeah, so it's different because, I get that, but,
I don't.
I'm a man, and my distance judgment from inches to miles is completely terrible. Yeah. So if you're trying to tell me I'll look at a deal, I'll be like, oh, that's only 200 feet. Me and Paul had an argument when we played the other day because neither one of us had a rangefinder on us, but we legitimately were talking. He was saying this was 300 feet. I said it was 200 feet. And we were going back and forth. Neither one of us knows, but he has more experience in that type of world, knowing the distance of what things would be. But still didn't feel like it, it didn't look like it.
Right. So then you start bringing the variation of downhill and uphill.
Yeah, and it's
changes everything.
The pros know, if you're on the field, they know it. But for me, that would have been the one time I needed the rangefinder, but it's in the trunk.
Where are you guys playing?
I don't know the name of that course over here in Arizona, over in
Paul was here in AZ?
Yeah, is that Tempe area?
Okay.
Yeah, he came in here, took a break, had to do some stuff, so he came out here, and I met up with him. But it was like it's the Tempe area. Do you guys know what course I'm talking about?
Is it the one with the lake in the middle?
Yeah,
It's Emerald Park.
Emerald Park.
Emerald Park.
Yeah. So we were playing that, and then we modified holes to make them like more durable for him.
Right.
Because it's an open course. And
Right.
we started playing different shots. We were doing, Annie shots to try to go over trees and sitting there. He was teaching me how to throw an Annie shot to where it pan out, flatten out. And but yeah, we were just kind of playing and throwing and just.
So I'm curious, is it much to do with the disc as it does the form?
Yeah, it's absolutely. So one thing when we would throw like a Sky Annie, right?
Yeah.
Where if you would have saw this past weekend in Nashville, I think it was like hole 16 or 17 where you saw Gannon Burr throw that.
Oh yeah,
that crazy Annie shot
They said
over
there
the
was
trees.
nothing there. It was just a
He threw
100-foot
it,
tree.
and you see him shoot it right through the trees. It gets out, pans out. If it did not go OB, and it landed short, he would have probably ended up having like an eagle.
Yeah.
And it was great, but he had the birdie attempt, and he's able to save the par. But like that shot is so difficult because when I would throw it, you got to understand, like in disc golf, which I started realizing is like the pull through. When you're pulling, you have to snap it out of your hands. So like if I throw my arm around, like I'm going to like the size of a hula hoop,
Right.
it's not going to go as far.
Right.
But if I cut the circle in half and then snap it like I'm snapping somebody with a towel, it's going to be able to push itself further and it's going to push the disc.
It's a great way to put it.
So when you go for the Annie shot, I would throw the Annie shot and I would do the hula hoop like relation. I would come around and go like this.
Right.
And he kept telling me, you need to you do your same step. Your chest needs to come up. When you're pulling, you're going to pop your hip out, your left hip, and you're going to snap your arm down while releasing it, but you have to have the follow through. So I would snap it, but I would keep my hand up. So the disc would kind of like pan out sooner, and then Paul would do it, and the disc would park whatever hole we were at, and then I'd go, and it'd slowly become faster and easier, and it's just the fast twitch muscle. To where like you can really understand that is when you watch this past weekend, we'll go over Nashville. If you watch Chris Dickerson throw the roller,
Yeah.
when he throws the roller, you see him like lip back, and
Right.
he's arching so far back, and he's snapping, pulling it just like as if he changed the angle down
Over top of
over
himself.
top, and he snaps, and
Yeah.
he's rotating his body the same way as if he
Yeah.
was throwing it flat. But you see that thing just snap, go down, and become the perfect roller.
Yeah.
And it was just all the whip of his hand, the placement of his body, and nothing changed. Because if you took that shot and you brought him over for a hyzer line, it's the same exact.
Yeah.
But it's the release, the follow through, the snap, and then all the technical stuff.
It's getting used to, for you, it's more like getting used to that feeling of you're still cutting it in half, but you're coming over your body more. You're not going out around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's different, you got to remember, like,
It's hard to get that elbow leading, isn't it?
it's so hard.
Isn't that? People don't realize how hard that actually is to time.
At the time to where you're throwing it to where you're not hitting your shoulder,
Right.
to where you're not
Right.
like,
Bring it in too fast. Yeah.
yeah, to where you're getting it right in that power pocket, as they call it, and like being able to release it before it turns into a grip lock.
Right.
You know, and it's like there's so many technical aspects. And in my line of work, we go forward. You know what I mean? Like I'm throwing forward. Like if we're throwing discs like this, I'm good. I'll be a world champ in disc golf. But we're not. We're pulling through, and I never have the opportunity to pull through. And it's weird is that when I bat with my left foot forward. But when I play disc golf, I play disc golf with my right foot forward to throw. So like the mechanics are they look so much better on my left side, and the snap and everything goes there, but it does not feel right.
Yeah.
And so I don't play on the left side.
Yeah.
Like, it translates well for certain athletes. Like baseball players are able to come through and play so good. Like Dylan Cease, he can bomb it because he has the pitching ability. He knows how to throw the pitch. He knows how to bring his hip. He also knows how to hit a baseball, and he's done it his whole life. So like the mechanics of learning how to pull it through and turn, that's okay with him because he does that with the baseball bat.
Right.
Right? And like, fighting, it's the same thing. Once you start learning how to use your hips in the throwing, and you can translate the pull to start using your hips to throw in disc golf, then it becomes easy. Like I can throw with my left, but like I have to time it perfectly. And once the perfect timing happens with the right pull, the right power packet, the right release, then my disc will fly so beautifully.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get that timing.
Do you see the parallel? Does it? You don't feel like when you're out playing disc golf that it's going to hurt your training in any way? You actually see it as a benefit because you are snapping your hips forward.
Yeah.
To your point. So does it anything in the sport that you see that is a hindrance, or is there things that you're doing in your training that are actually benefiting your disc golf and you can tell?
Well, there's a lot of things that help out a lot. So like when you throw a punch, like if I was back foot forward, if I go southpaw, which is my right hand forward, my left leg back, when I throw a punch, I'm not throwing it with my arm. I have to rotate my hip the same way as if you're throwing a disc. So like when I go here, my hip is leading and then my arm snaps out, and that produces the most power. So in disc golf,
I want to make sure everyone sees you.
yeah. So when disc golf, when I'm pulling, I have to lead with my hip and time it perfectly. So as my hip comes through, I'm snapping my arm out. Now, if I just turn the ankle and I turn everything and my hip goes through, my left arm will go forward like I'm punching them. And if you watch disc golfers, when they throw, their follow through, they're throwing their hip and their left arm comes straight forward across their face.
Right.
So it's their follow through. So it's technically, it all works together in the MMA realm. As well as like in strength conditioning, we have to throw the ball at the wall and we're using our hips like we're doing the punch, the same exact concept. And then
it's not all arm. You've got to get that shift, that moving.
Yes, and then
in unison.
It all works. It's so much easier in fighting than it is in disc golf.
Cool.
And fighting, like it's not hard to have your arm go here and forward. I can tell you to push your arm out and then bring your hip as you push your arm out, and you can time it in unison. But pulling, you have your arm is going this far, which is cut in half of. It's like 30 to 40 inches of reach, right? So you're going here and you're turning. Where in disc golf, you're reaching back probably 60 inches and then the disc. And then you're also coming through, pulling your elbow. If your elbow's low, the disc changes. Your body, your posture, everything. When you pull, if you turn too soon, it hits your shoulder, hits your stomach, and then it throws the disc off before you snap it. It's so much more difficult. And one thing that's real good too is like elbows, throwing elbows and spinning elbows.
Which I've seen you do.
Yes, and I throw them very effectively.
It's very scary.
Because the amount of power that I can throw an elbow when I spin
it's very scary.
Is like or disc golf has taught me how to bring my elbow through harder.
Oh, wow.
So when I go to step and I go to throw, I can bring this hip through and then I'll snap my elbow and I can spin in like a circle because I've done it so many times through disc golf where I'm pulling here and then turning and rotating through to where you'll see me hit spinning elbows all day and I have a good posture on it. So it does translate for unique like abilities.
So you're going to hit someone. Are you going to say like that would have been a 450-foot raptor as you break their nose?
No, I would have been like, that's a KO. That's a KO. It's a knockout.
It's a knockout.
Because like I can hit somebody going 60 miles an hour, like we're throwing that disc with that power.
Wow.
But like I also don't know that I don't have to worry about a nose angle or a follow through.
No, you don't.
Or, wind or anything. I just have to worry about if it hits that face or not.
Right.
And then when it does, we're good,
But when you start going like this and you're explaining the pull through and the elbow, there actually is. It's such an athletic move, and I've always said that. I don't think people appreciate how athletic this sport is, especially at the top level. Like those guys that's a workout, man.
Dude, it's insane. And like, you don't realize playing 3-4 days in a row with these guys. I don't play it. Let me watching them.
Yeah.
You don't ever realize like how tiring that is. Because like they're ripping shots. Now, their 80% goes further than my max power. But like the intensity of throwing, they just played a huge tournament the week prior. They have to still go out there and play the course a couple times. And they're trying to figure out, they're throwing, 4 or 5 shots a hole, 4 or 5 drives at 18. And then they go out there and play against other people that are trying to, advance further than them. So the competition level, the mental, everything that goes there. And like you have the wind, you have your own anxieties of situations that may occur of, hitting a chain out, hitting the band, hitting the basket, or grip locking, going OB. On top of that, it's so stressful. And these guys are still ripping it to consistent. Like this weekend, watching Simon be able to put himself in the position that he was in to win in Nashville and like have the ability to do the same score, practically the same score every day and progressively get better.
Yeah.
It is just, it's insane to watch that because I could play a disc golf course twice in a row and my scores are going to be so far apart. They're never going to be consistent.
That's the part where I think the sport continues to elevate in terms of viewership and hopefully they land on CBS and they come to CBS Sports starts picking it up and ESPN starts picking it up because someone like you to say that this is that athletic brings so much more credibility than someone like myself or your average player.
Well, it's the thing is like people would look at golfers, right? So regular golfers are like, a lot of people would argue that's an activity, it's not a sport. And I've been on podcasts where we argue, I was like, it's a sport and it's an activity. But there's a lot of intricate details inside of it for you to be successful. And it's not easy. And it's not easy to go out there and win every time. It's the same thing as in disc golf. It's not easy to win every single time.
No way.
And for like the era of the Paul and Ricky era, that is the most difficult thing ever for them to do. Because you're seeing it now. There's so many people that are up and coming like Calvin Clyde, Gannon Burr. You have, who else? Anthony Barella. Who else? Nicholas Antala. Like these kids that were young, that were in it because of the OGs, which we're going to call Paul and Ricky the OGs.
Yep.
They're in a time of success that influenced others to start, and as they started, they're getting years ahead, and they're having more technology and more understanding of the game because of these guys. And now you can start seeing these kids like showing up. Like for Barella to win, you know, what is it, 3 of 5 right now?
Right.
3 of 5 tournaments, like that's huge. That's insane.
I don't know where he ended up. He ended up top. He ended up top 10.
I think he was tied 7th.
Tied 7th.
Is that where it ended up 7th?
So.
And it's like, you know,
Incredible.
and
Anthony.
it's 1 year though. Like think about like last year, like we had a couple tournaments where he's in the top 10, and then a couple tournaments where he isn't, and then a couple tournaments where he almost won, and he, you know, had some hiccups, some mental games go through it. Yeah. And like now things are clicking.
Yeah.
And now he's in it, you know, and it's like that's a scary person to have in it. You know, like the guy can throw, you know, a mile long.
Yep.
And he can do that over and over. He can get, you know, eagles that other people can't.
Right.
Like at Jonesboro, where he threw it further than anyone else to put himself into a position to get an eagle. It's like, and then he's 60 feet out and he drains a putt.
He makes it.
And it's like, that's a scary person.
Yeah.
You know? And then he's only getting better. He's only getting more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So like you have to beat him, you know, you're gonna have to find a different way to beat him. And then you just see everything. And then you go on the female side, like Kristen Tatar.
Yeah.
You know, we had Paige Pierce running the game for the longest time. And now Kristen's coming in and she's destroying it. And it's not that like they can't catch her, because there's like amazing people like Owen Scoggins, one of the best female putters on the planet right now. And she's a savage. She's been in it, especially like she's an OG and she's keeping up with the best. You have who just won it the other day. Kristen ended up winning it. Then they had Evelina, she won it in Florida. And then you had Owens won. Who else was it?
Who else? Who?
Missy Gannon. Yeah, she won her first one, right?
Yeah, Missy. Yeah. No, that was the major too.
That was a major. Yeah. Huge. And it's like these girls are good.
Very good.
But like when you get on and you see like Kristen Tatar on, there ain't nothing stopping her. It was almost like the same thing as Simon this weekend. He was on.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was stopping him.
8 through the first 9.
Yeah.
That was insane.
There's nothing that's like, you can hope and pray for him to get triple double bogeys to make it interesting, but it's not.
It wasn't going to happen.
Like he was winning that tournament from the start, and it sucks to like say it like that, but like everything was.
Guitar, man.
He wanted that second guitar. He's having another baby. He knows he's gonna be out. He needs the extra cash. He needs the extra hype, and he has one guitar for one child, one thing for one child, and one for the other. Now they both got guitars, back to back years.
That's pretty cool. Think about it that way. I know he posted a picture of his son when he pulled it out of the. Yeah. Like he literally just got home. You see his bag and his suitcase and the guitar, and he was opening it up, and his kid was already like this. It's a great picture.
That's amazing. So I like. And that's the thing is like
amazing.
His mental was exactly where it needed to be, and
that was impressive.
Like, and if you go through it and watch that tournament, Ricky had a phenomenal day, a phenomenal day the first day. Second day, he was hitting bands or he was hitting the basket just a little low, a little off.
6 or 7, I counted.
Yeah, and like if you would have made all that, it would have changed everything. Paul was doing the same thing, doing great, but he wasn't getting his circle 2 putts to where. When we sit there and we watch it, it's like, oh crap! Like, if these guys would have been on just like him, then we would have had a battle. Yeah, we would have seen who would have came through with the victory, and it would have been intense. But then everybody didn't have that. They were missing that one piece, except for the only person that had it was, Simon. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like all these guys, they're competitors. They're great. Like, let's go into Big Germ, right? Big Germ looks down to see where he's at to see if he can go.
That was cool on 18.
On 18, he played a phenomenal dude. He won the first one of the year a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And like all of a sudden, he just revived as a new person. Yeah. And he had a hot round.
New mortgage.
New house, new mortgage, new life.
That'll fire up the engine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, you watched him the day before. He gets the hot round. He's about to go 12 under, and then he misses the putt, and then double putt or triple putts, and then gets a bogey, which sucks. Yeah. But then the next day, he looks at his phone, and he's like, all right, I'm running this. Yeah. I'm making this. I'm not going to tie. I'm getting up there. It wasn't an easy putt, was it? It was not. No. Off the knee, right in there, put it right in the basket. Was that 60-plus feet?
Oh, it had to be. It was out there.
And he drains it. Yeah. He drains it. It's like, man, if he had that yesterday, it would have been different. And he had the day before, and it's like, that stuff is cool to see. That's a mentality shift.
Well, and the depth has gotten to be really great, hasn't it? Especially the last couple of years. You're seeing where you talked about it earlier, where you had Paul and Ricky had this dominance. Yeah. And they're still the best players in the world. They're still there. Okay. But what's happened is that there's been more money into the sport. And these kids that were following them 10 years ago are now actually competing with them, right? Yeah. And now there's pools deep. Now you've got Gannon Burr, you've got Klein, you've got anyone that can win on a weekend with that hot putter, or maybe it's a course layout, maybe it's just they're vibing on something that's working. Yeah. And all those things as a professional athlete. Your head's clear. When you're playing the best, your head's clear, and it's just a zone. You're just in a zone. Yeah, and you got it forward. You
got to have it. So like the Paul and Ricky era, it's different. Like those, they respect each other so much. They do, and they don't hate each other. They respect each other. But at the end of the day, when they're competing, they don't care for one another. Yeah, they don't get shook from one another. Right. They go after each other because we're talking about paychecks here, right? And it's a battle. And you can feel it. When you watch these guys, you can feel it. Whether you're cheering for Paul, whether you're cheering for Ricky, you're going to feel the emotion. You pick one person and you go all in on them and you see them battle, you're going to watch them and you're going to feel the emotions that they're going to feel. Yeah. Let's say they miss a putt to get them tied and the other person makes the putt and then they're up 2 strokes and this one's parring out. You're going to feel that emotion. You're going to have the same emotion that he's having, except for he knows how to control that. Or she, it doesn't matter in that realm. And so like nowadays, those guys were so they're so ruthless in their sport when they play that their mentality is so just, when they get up to a point and you have someone that's draining, you have a 70-foot putt, to drain for birdie, while another person has a 35-foot putt to get birdie. You're sitting there. When you get Paul and Ricky on it, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
They're making it. They're not getting shook. And then when they make it, everyone else gets shook. It doesn't matter how close you are. You can have a tap in, but you're shook.
It's the Paul, Ricky, and like Tiger Woods effect, right?
Yeah.
When they start rolling, it affects others.
Oh, yeah. Those are the only people you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Like in the disc golf community, it doesn't matter. And you can argue with me all day. If you are in the lead and 2 or 3 is Paul and Ricky, those are going to be the people that bring you the most fear.
Yeah.
You could put anybody else
Yes.
in that. They're going to be the ones that are going to shake you up the most. And I don't know what it is. Like they have so much respect in the game, but they've battled each other out. They've battled for world titles. They've battled for championships, and they've been where everyone wants to be. So when they get on there, they rep it out and they know, hey, this is what I have to do. There's no going back. Where everyone else is like, I don't know what it feels like. Let me get it. If Paul and Ricky aren't on the lead card and they're having a rough weekend, which it happens, everybody else is playing the best. But those are the only 2 that you start getting scared.
Yeah.
In that game.
And they've paid their dues in a way. When Ricky sat where you are, he told us stories that I was humbled by. It's like they had nothing, but yet they were finding a way to get to the next town to play.
Yeah.
And all that mattered was getting the next town to play. Sleeping on sofas, asking people at the disc golf course if they could stay at the house.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of grit.
It's insane.
To do what you love.
And now you're watching everybody and they're like, they're getting Airbnbs together. Everybody's friends. Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
These guys grew up in an era where you ain't friends with one another.
Right.
And it's like, it's not that you're not friends, but like you're trying to take food off my plate. We're talking about this weekend, the spotter that knocked, Ricky's disc on 18 out of bounds to give him a bogey that dropped him back, that took a relief to pressure. That took thousands of dollars off his paycheck.
Yeah.
Off that win paycheck.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
It was very unfortunate.
And you know what else was unfortunate? Is that someone did the same thing. It was a player. Was it Waco?
This year?
He got there with 4 minutes and 30 seconds before his tee time.
Yeah.
And a player in the group
hit him.
Took money right out of his two-stroke penalty, and he ended up.
And that's the thing.
That was a huge difference.
Dog-eat-dog world, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid as hell. But at the end of the day, that's your fault, man. You have a report time. So in the UFC, they make sure they'll call every single one of us and make sure we are there. They'll have cars waiting out in front of us hours before we need to have a report time. They'll make sure everything's there. We have a report time. We have everything scheduled out when we're there. And there's a community of people that are there that make sure we're on time. When our fight starts at this time, then we have a certain report time that we have to have. If we don't show up, we're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And we're going to feel it. And that's the thing. It's pretty shitty that, a person called Ricky out, and rightfully so. It's the dumbest thing in the world, but it's part of it, right? It's part of the game.
Right.
And if I was playing with Ricky, and I can get a 2-point swing on him, damn straight I'm going to take it.
That's another way to look at it.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take every bit. I don't fault the guy. That's part of the game, right? But when we're talking about the spotter that cost him the money, or the spotter that cost Barella the money, a couple, last year.
In a trap.
You hit him in there. It's like
Vegas. Yeah.
This is the thing. I
remember that.
That's the thing is in this sport, if you have an OB line, everybody needs to be 10 feet past that OB line.
Yeah, away from it.
You shouldn't be up on it because you're sitting there.
In play, yeah.
Yeah, it's in play, and it's these guys are trying to flex this disc all the way out there and to come back. And Ricky's plan was to flex it out, get a skip shot. And if you ever watch Ricky throw, when he hits the ground and he throws that felon, that thing's skipping. Mm-hmm. Or whatever it is, it's skipping far. And the same thing when I throw my Raptor, I know that I'm going to throw it at this point, but it's going to flare skip, and it's going to give me another 15, 20 feet. So like we planned for that. And he knows it way better than me. I'm over here 20 feet. He's probably getting 40.
Yeah.
And you have a spotter sitting there that needs to keep their eyes on the disc and to spot. And it is what it is. You can't hate them because they're a volunteer.
Yeah.
But it's like
You can't.
you know that
But at
that
the
costs.
same time, right. Well, it points to Jeff Spring has done a really nice job, I think, with the Disc Golf Pro Tour with live coverage, the courses he's choosing. This was the first course that I thought this last week in Nashville where when those drones were on top, you could actually see the cutout of that hole and where it was going. Was it a dog leg left? Was it a dog leg right? Was it a hook shot like Gannon was throwing? That dog leg 90-degree angle right? Par 4 was crazy.
No, that actually was very
great.
cool.
That was very cool.
So it was amazing because like normally we see the flight from the ground and we get the camera view. We get to see the drive, and then they'll pan out to the next camera that's coming in, the catch cam, to see it come through, and then you get there. But you also don't know, you're looking in the air, 20, 50, 80 feet in the air to where you don't know where they're at in the OB area. So whenever they pan out to that drone, you get to see the full flight of the disc.
Yeah.
So you get to see like,
which is great.
I don't care about the height. You know what I mean? Like I just want to see this thing fly.
Yeah.
Like the Gannon shot, where you get to see Gannon shot from the drone and you see it pan out and cut back, and it's like, holy hell!
It's great, isn't it?
Like there's a reason why you're sponsored. There's a reason why you're winning.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so much cooler.
I agree.
But
I agree. It's really improved. He's done a great job with that.
Dude, it's so he's done a great job of capturing more than just a regular drive. Now the thing is like, let's be honest. The one bone I have to pick is that there's so many disc golfers and you're paying all this money for, a pro stream. You got 1,000 of ads that go on all week that are so annoying. And I want to watch these guys play, but also I want to watch Adam Hammis, but he's not on the chase card. He's not on the main card. Yeah. I want to watch Ezra Aderhold. I want to watch Nicholas Onslaught if you don't get to see all of his plays.
Yeah.
I want to watch these guys. Cupcake.
More cameras.
Yeah, more cameras. Just like, don't just like we obviously know that you're going to do better if you have a Paul or Ricky on the main card.
Yeah.
People are going to tune in.
Right.
But like, how do you get to that? You have to show others.
Yeah.
You have to show others on this deal. So like, if you want to build more cameras, cool, don't pay for the drone. If I'm watching 5 hours worth of disc golf in one day, buddy, I don't want to see all these ads. I don't want to spend all this extra money. I want to see nonstop action, whether you're flipping left or right to, to see everything. Yeah. If you want me to pay for a service where I can pay extra money to see
ad free?
Not even. That's basically what the Pro Series was.
Deeper down.
Yeah, deeper down. It's like, hey, you want to pay?
You see more players.
You want to see Adam Hammis on day 2?
Yeah.
Scroll down, pay for this. You get to unlock Adam Hammis all year. You pay X amount, and then you have a person that gets to follow that person.
That's not a horrible idea.
I think it would be great.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is with golf and disc golf, what makes it so like boring for an average person is you're watching them, you're hearing them talk, which they're great commentary, they're awesome. Zach Melton, shout out to you. You did an amazing job in Nashville. Please be on it again. They do an amazing job, but like when we're cutting, when they're walking, I want to see other people play. There's other people on the network that are playing for 30th place. Some of these guys have crazy shots.
Yeah. That's really true.
Like, what about old boy that hit the double ace that we were able to catch because they had
that camera on that one hole.
Yeah, on that one hole.
Jonesboro, yeah.
And if we didn't have that, it would have been on a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if it wasn't on captured, you're going to see double ace on the card, and we don't get the ability to see that.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
How do you build other people in the network? How do you make it more entertaining? How are you going to get it on ESPN if you're 4 hours like? No one's going to want to watch that.
Well, I think people like yourself who have a following outside of the sport that may draw some interest into it, and to hear you say that how athletic this sport is, and you guys should give it a try. It's a lot of fun. It's a good workout, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that helps build the brand, and they can get more money and they can do more things, right?
Yeah.
So you have there's a reason like people are interested in the fact that you're throwing discs because
No, absolutely.
because you know you're an MMA fighter. You're a tough guy. You're someone people listen to. You're visible in public.
Thank you. You started
all-
talking about my beard line.
That's all cool.
And
You
my
got a
beautiful
solid
eyes
beard.
and
That's a
everything.
solid
Like,
beard,
okay,
man.
okay.
I
Sounds
couldn't
spicing me up.
I could
you know?
have started when I was 16. I wouldn't be there.
You know, like I started when I was 13. Hasn't came off. That's the thing is like, look, I was into disc golf far before I ever watched disc golf.
Yeah.
And the reason why is like I didn't know. And it wasn't until I went to my first event, I started seeing that, and I started becoming friends with a lot of these guys. And like, I watch this, I love disc golf because it's a relief.
Yeah.
It's an activity I can go outside.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're good. Doesn't matter if you're bad. You can go and have fun. You're spending an hour and a half outside. You can hang out with your friends. If you're a drinker, if you're a smoker, you can go out there.
Yeah.
You could play these little leagues and just erase everything and not have any pressure on yourself.
Right.
And then you get to watch your friends compete. And when you watch them compete, you get to see them live out their dream. And it's so fun to do that because you're finally living in someone else's dream. And we are always focused on our own, and we're always focused on life around ourselves. This is a break that we can get out and watch someone else fulfill theirs. And it's so much more like relaxing in a sense, man, because it gets really, like this weekend was so tough to watch Ricky and Paul and like watch these guys go in there and compete. And like when they're missing or when they're making, like your emotions get high.
Yeah.
So like
It's true.
it's great for everybody, but like the viewership, like you have to build it up, you know, out here in waste management. Well, if you want to be like waste management, start getting all these people, start selling alcohol to these events and get people to party just like this same exact they're doing in golf. Like if you make a hole in, I found out this year, if you make a hole in one on one of the holes in waste management, everyone throws their beer out onto the field and goes crazy. It's like, that's more entertainment than the golf itself.
Yeah. It happened again this year.
And I say, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's more entertainment. Like, how are you going to draw more fans? Well, you're going to start bringing ability for fans to want to enjoy it,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Like, that's the only
Yeah.
way. And if I'm sitting there watching 5 hours and I'm constantly watching, you know, the same two cars and then maybe get like some sort of, oh, we caught this earlier today, you know, and I get the descriptions, I get all that, but like,
Yeah.
we want to see disc golf nonstop.
Yeah, we do.
24-hour disc golf. We don't want to waste. We don't want to have 5 hours and, you know, probably 2 hours is worth of ads and cut scenes and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
No, I hear you. Well, yourself, Ben Askew.
Askren. Yes.
Sorry, say Askren? Askew.
Askew.
I had a
That's all right.
golfing buddy who was an Askew. My bad. Can you beat him? Can you take him down?
In disc
Disc
golf? Dude, Ben is good. I haven't
He's
played.
got his
so
own course, doesn't he?
He does. He has his own course in his backyard. You know, I've been playing and getting better and better. Ben is real good, and he plays a lot.
Yeah, that's really good.
I need to go back. Last time I beat him with the help of Ricky and Paul, and I won the Funky Farms Invitational with the help of Paul and Scott Stokely, which, by the way, Scott Stokely is an animal, dude.
Yeah,
That dude, his sidearm is unbelievable.
yeah. Kind of ageless too. He's still out there at 50.
It's insane.
Yeah.
He ended up getting an ace at where was it? Oh, a couple weeks
Waco.
ago. Was it Waco?
Yeah, Waco. Yeah.
But that sidearm, it's like, yeah. But like I ended up beating him. We've never played one-on-one, so I don't know. And at the time when we played, for sure he could beat me. Yeah, he's just, I mean, he knows his own course.
Yeah.
But I need to go after him. I've wanted to play him.
Do they have a celebrity thing out there that
They
raises
used
some
to.
money? They don't.
So they used to. I don't know what happened. Jeff Spring is having to deal with stuff and figure that one out.
Okay.
But they stopped it. We did it a couple years in a row, and then
Yeah.
they didn't do it last year, which is so fun. Like that. That's where I met a lot of these players when I first went there. I mean, I met Simon Lizotte the first year.
Yeah.
I met the foundation crew. I met I mean, I've met
That's-
rock star football players, everything, but it's just fun because if you were there the first year, you gotta understand they had to edit a lot. They edit a lot because you have to understand the pressure of disc golf. When these guys are on camera, they can't speak freely. So they have to hold it back to make it presentable, right? But when we're out there,
Disc golfers are trash talkers, is what you're saying.
dude, we were, me,
You're a natural
man,
trash talker.
I
so.
was talking so much crap. Man, I was saying so many cuss words. I was saying so much. And then I got the disc golfers, they're hyping each other up. So like
Yeah.
I'm with Ricky and Paul. Man, I'm going mind blank. Who's Paul? Paul's partner was, I had to play against Paul, and he was on a different card than us.
You're right. There were a lot of musicians out there too.
There's
rock
so
stars.
many great people
I
out
was
there.
watching some of that. It was
And-
cool.
Oh, it's so fun. But like we're sitting there talking, and dude, we were talking so much crap to each other, going back and forth. And Paul started to talk crap to me, and then Ricky started to talk back to Paul, and like we're just like laughing and joking, and like it's all like joking batters.
Right, right.
And to where like I ended up dropping that line on Big Germ, where I was like, "Is this the most wieners you've had on you at once?" And like just murdering him, and like it made it fun, you know.
for sure.
It made it so fun to where these guys can laugh, they can have fun. It's more enjoyable.
For sure.
And like if you win, it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
Right.
They just want to have fun. They want to
Right.
hang out with people. They want to get away from the realm. And
And it's fun for you from that perspective because you're playing with someone that knows what they're doing
oh,
at
absolutely.
a very high level.
You do this on this like Funky Farms Invitational again. Get some cool people, allow trash talk, allow all that banter,
Yeah.
have an exclusive pay extra to where if you want to hear
that'd
it,
be cool.
That's going to bring up more eyes than playing this Nashville, because Nashville, everyone's not talking. I want to hear what they say.
Yeah.
I want to hear the conversations that Paul and Simon were having when they were walking off. But you can't,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
they won't let you, because they may have said some funny stuff back and forth to him that's not airable.
Right. That's very true.
And that's
very
what
true.
dude, if we had banter, like when we're sitting there watching the press conferences, they're so weak. Like,
You're a natural though, because I've seen you even after fights. You're funny.
yeah, I
Like you're
talk
throwing
shit.
you're throwing stuff out.
I
I mean, your nose
say
is broken. I
dumb
saw
shit.
one fight, your nose is broken, and you were talking shit to. I don't know if someone else had a beard. He was like, this beard's better. And,
Yeah, Tyron Woodley.
is that what that was?
Yeah, it's Tyron
It
Woodley.
was cool as hell, and you guys were having this thing after the fight, but not everyone's like that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so weird. Like, everybody needs to be polite, because polite, you bring sponsorship. Sponsorship
Correct.
brings money.
And they need money right now. Right.
And it helps out.
Right.
But like when we have a press conference and you have two people side by side, well, you know, I heard that their stuff is they're overturning and blah blah blah. Like hopefully he doesn't overturn it like on this. Like it's not real like banter, and they're trying to be polite to one another
Yeah.
and joking around. Where like Kat Merch is funny when she gets up, because she'll be in all weird attire and saying like crazy stuff, and you're laughing because it's interesting.
Yeah.
It breaks the monotony of like this.
She
This
is.
deal.
She's a personality,
Oh, she is. She's
right?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Every time I see her on the deal, I'm like, oh, what is she doing today?
Right.
Give me some excitement, please. You're playing with a butterfly. You're hanging out in Hulk Hogan gear. Like, it's just awesome. You know, it's bringing out, it's making it more than just, it's making it fun.
Yeah.
And showing people why you can do
Yeah.
it. Like, you can be anybody and play
Yeah.
disc golf.
Characters are good. It's
Yeah.
good to have them in the sport for
Dude,
sure.
I would love to see like Gannon Burr and Kyle Klein sitting side by side, talking trash at a tournament to each other.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. It doesn't matter if they're talking about their hair,
Yeah.
joking around about their
Yeah.
hair, talking
Yeah.
about their form.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it would be funny. No, it's not. It's part of the game,
Yeah.
right?
We
But,
had, we had the Phoenix Fall Classic. I didn't mean to talk.
no, you're good.
But Goose and Barella were paired together, and they were both fighting it out for 1 and 2 in this tournament. And I'm filming it all, and I'm following them, so I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. And Barella throws a perfect forearm on the first hole, almost hits the basket, but then gets on a roll and goes down the hill. And as it's rolling towards OB, It's still a ways away. Goose is in the background. You can hear him in the camera going, get out, get out, get out of bounds.
Yeah.
Barella has to turn around and give him, the shit back.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
None of that gets on there, but it's fully happening.
Oh,
There's this
absolutely.
whole thing that's going on top of the throwing discs, right? They're getting in each other's head a little bit. They're having fun with that.
Dude, one of the most incredible characters, honestly, is Goose. I met him this summer, and that dude is so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dying when I'm around him. Like, just the stuff that came out of his mouth and his little, like, that shit is so funny. Like, to have that, like, if you had, like,
That's awesome.
if you had the ability to listen to him
Yeah.
and just
I
when he's
have.
on the course, it's so funny. And
He
like,
is
if
good.
you capture that, it's so great. So like, you get to watch the YouTube videos where you have, the matchup with Ezra and Brody where they do doubles or they do the practice rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they invite other people and
Yeah.
they're playing. Like, when you have Goose on there, Goose is being Goose. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And he's just a wild man.
Yeah.
And with that like nice little mustache he had going for a while, dude, it's so hilarious. And like, you just didn't expect his character because all you see is him being super polite, the
Yeah.
whole time. But like, if you
And he is.
he's so awesome,
Right.
so awesome. But like, him just talking trash is
Yeah.
so funny.
That's great.
And all these guys, like when they talk trash, and they're all friends,
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome. I think what would be perfect, you get a tournament. We do a manufacturer tournament where you get your top players from each manufacturer, and you have a tournament where they go out there and they play against each other, almost similar to like U.S. versus
Okay.
Europe.
Right. That would be cool.
It'd be awesome where you
Yeah.
get to like, who's the best,
Right.
But you allow the trash talk.
Right.
Because these guys play each other on the practice court. I was out there with these guys,
Right.
and they're talking trash to each other. They're reminding each other about,
Right.
holes they missed. Like,
Right.
Goose has roasted himself because he's making a deal, and he's like, "Oh, I would have won worlds with that putt, or I would have won worlds with this." And it's like, and then other people were saying stuff. It's like, "Well, you would have like later in the round, and like, yeah, you also would have won worlds with that throw." And like, they're trash talking him, but like, yeah, it hurts at the moment, but months away, years away, they don't care about it. But it's funny.
That was a great Worlds, by the way.
I was there.
You were there?
I was there.
Oh.
I was there for that. That was the most intense stuff. Dude, let's talk about mind games, bro. Paul Macbeth on hole 16. Goose is always throwing sidearm. Goose's sidearm is incredible.
And we're talking 16, 17, 18 to still play in the round? Or
Yeah, the final round. Final
Okay,
round. Not the
final
one where 17 was the one where Paul made that incredible
Putt.
Yes.
Yeah, insane.
That is
90
levels.
footer. Yeah.
But like, Paul had the box, and Paul was throwing backhand all day on that hole. If you watched all week when he played that, he was throwing backhand.
Backhands.
Go watch again. Paul threw sidearm and parked the basket, and it got into Goose's head. It was a mind game deal. Go watch that. Like, these are the things when you're a fan and you watch, and you're a fan of like competition, you're a fan of like, how do you do that? How do you play mind games? Watch. He threw the sidearm there
That's incredible you picked that up.
and he parked it. Oh, I when I watch it, I watch everything and I see everything. That's why I'm such a good fighter, is that I see everything breaking down. So I watch Paul, he throws a sidearm, parks it. Goose is now sitting there thinking about that sidearm. Goose goes up, throws a sidearm, gets it. I think it wasn't OB, it was too far. And he missed his putt, and then Paul tied it right there. Or brought in score up, got one on him.
Yeah.
And then we went off to the deal, and Paul shanked the shot on 17.
Tee.
Goose, the tee. Then Goose throws an incredible shot.
Yeah.
Then Paul's up there. Paul's looking through the trees. I'm sitting there. Emerson Keith's right beside me. We're talking like, what is he looking at? He goes, I think he's going to try to go for it. I was like, where? If you didn't see that, like, you don't see it on camera, but I was standing there, and his gap was no bigger than maybe just a little bit more of this table. And I was like, and there's trees hanging down, and I was like, the fuck? I was like, I mean, if anybody can do it, it's him. And he's ways away from that gap. He's probably about 50 feet away from that gap. So, like, you make one wrong turn, and then you see him throw it, lace it, skip, go right there, and put it 60 feet out. You even watch Goose walking away on that. It's like, okay. We go there, and then he makes that putt, and you watch Goose's face. Then you see him, like, you see that mind game right there. You see the Paul effect happen.
Yeah. It did happen on 17 green.
It did, and that effect happened. And then,
like, you couldn't believe it.
Paul made that, but put it to a playoff, and then he's still thinking about that, having all that stress. A young kid, up and comer, first time in the highlight reel against the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then Paul throws it on the island, and then Goose, threw it short, put it in the water, and then it made the opportunity for Paul to get what he needed, and he got that title. But it's like those mind games, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't. If you watch, go back and watch Paul and Ricky battle each other. You'll see Paul and Ricky both change their shots back and forth to get in each other's head. Park a basket with their shot. You've been throwing backhand the whole time, and you see that mind games, but you don't realize it. Like,
that's what they're really doing.
Yeah.
They're not just playing the best shot. There's a whole nother game going.
There's a whole nother game. Like, the putts are the big stuff. Well, how do you get someone off the tee?
Yeah.
You have to take what they normally do and watch them do what they do best, and you do it better.
Yeah.
And then they have to think about that shot. It's so incredible.
Yeah.
For instance, let's go to when Eagle came back last year, and he beat Paul in Europe. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
2 years.
2 years ago. You remember that when Paul did that?
They both were 40 under, and everyone else was 20.
Yeah. Do you remember on hole 17, they're tied up?
Yeah, hard hole, straight ahead. It's usually a mid-range, and they got to land it perfect. I've talked to Ricky about this before. He said if that doesn't land perfect, it's OB.
Yeah, doesn't land perfect, it's OB. What happened to Paul on that one?
I don't remember.
Paul went OB on that one.
Did he go OB?
Yeah. Do you know what Paul threw that?
No.
Paul threw exactly the same exact shot that Eagle was throwing. Eagle just did it. Paul just skipped OB, and it took the pressure off Eagle, and then Eagle ended up getting it.
So he was doing it to Eagle in that moment.
He's doing it to Eagle, and it did pay off. Go watch it. Go watch him switch his form. Go watch the whole weekend.
And then watch that shot 17.
And watch him throw that shot. Dude, these are mind games that these guys play, and you can watch it. You're sitting there every time when they get up to.
That's pretty cool.
Every time when there's so much more into the disc golf, and that's why I know, like, these guys don't play to win. Paul and Ricky, they don't play to win. I mean, they play to win. They play to dominate. They play to crumble you. They play so that you can think that they play that you are stuck with them the next time you play.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that shot.
Right.
You're thinking about the next day, like, it's fucking Ricky.
Yeah.
It's Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there thinking, and like, when you go and watch that, and that's why I love watching them two battle. And I'm so excited every time I see them both on there. Like, I want them both to win.
Yeah.
But I want my entertainment to be better than their wins. You know, like, I'm watching them. I'm watching every detail. Okay, Ricky's throwing a sidearm. Paul's gonna go for a sidearm. All right, cool. Ricky's throwing this. This past weekend, you hear him kept saying, "Oh, why is Paul switching it to a sidearm?" Oh, he's saying he can get more distance with his sidearm because of his shoulder and
I
stuff.
remember that par 3, you threw one way out. That
Yeah. You remember they keep saying that?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be his shoulder. Paul was doing great in the tournament the whole time throwing his backhand. Why is he switching? Because he can do that. Him and Ricky both have the ability to throw whatever shot they want because they can get inside the circle, get outside the circle, and still drain the putt.
So you think he was trying to get in the head of Simon to a certain extent?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was really all for Simon, to make Simon not think too perfectly about what he was going to do. Make him think that there might be a better way to do it.
This is the thing is like...
That's incredible.
You got to sit there and think. Numbers produce pressure, right?
Yeah.
Simon was so far ahead. If Paul would have kept making these putts that he was chaining out, missing, like, if he was able to make those, then it would have put more pressure. There's
sure.
like 2 or 3 pars that could have been birdies for Paul,
Yeah.
and then it would have been
The door
pars
opened a
for
few
there,
times, yeah.
and it would have got there, and he would have. If you looked at all the putts that he
Especially in the
missed and the things that happened, he would have been a couple strokes away. With that person on your back, Ricky would have been, or not Ricky, but Simon would have started feeling a little bit more pressure.
Might have changed his
When
strategies.
you're 6 strokes ahead with 5 holes, 5 holes ahead, or 6 strokes ahead with 5 holes, like.
Yeah.
You're not really worried about messing up. You can par out and still wouldn't even get caught up.
Yeah.
They have to play perfect. But when you're neck and neck, changes everything. Go look at round 2. Go look at round 2 when Paul's starting to catch up. You start seeing, Simon messing up a little bit more. Look at his score. 12 under or 10 under first day. 10 or 11 under first day. 7 under the second day. And then back to 11 under the next day.
Yeah.
Like that effect.
Yeah. He had him in the rear view. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You had to. You have to give him the respect.
And you're seeing the catch up there.
Yeah.
You're seeing the mental gauge, the catch up.
Yeah.
And then, Paul was still doing what he was doing, and it was great.
Yeah.
But you see that. Go look at everybody else on the card. Look at everybody else on there. Look at everybody on Ricky's card.
Yeah.
Right? Ricky showed up. Dude, who played a phenomenal weekend? Jeremy Colin.
Yeah.
Jeremy Colin played a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah. Coming off a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah,
right? Or
coming off of 2 weeks ago.
It was great.
Jeremy Colin's going there. Look at Ricky. Day 2, he didn't do so well. Got on the chase card. Still good enough. When he's on that chase card, everybody on that chase card was flying. They were doing so great. They had Ricky on there, and Ricky was playing and doing what Ricky does, draining these long distance putts, making it incredible. Yeah, everywhere.
You just see his arm come out of the tree.
Yeah,
right, or bush or something. I mean, make it.
And everyone else,
like
wasn't able to compete. They were sitting there watching him like, damn, I can't catch up to him. Why do you think he was the head of the lead card?
Yeah.
And who's the head of? Simon wins it, but we're looking at those lines.
Yeah.
Who was messing up more? I mean, I love Chris Dickerson. He's awesome, but he was having so many mess ups because he's trying to chase Paul, and then he ends up dropping down, so far and making this. Gannon Burr, the same thing. You got to the point where Gannon was showing for show.
Gannon surprised me. I thought he would have played better. I don't know anyone knows the reason why, but it could be what you're talking about. It could have been Simon's performance. It could have been Paul's performance. It could have been the shots they were throwing, where maybe he doesn't feel intimidated by a lot of players, but maybe those two that day did. He's 18 years old, so he's still got a lot of. Right?
He's going to be a menace.
He's a killer.
This is the thing, though, is that you have to understand, Gannon had a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah.
And then we go into the last day, he started changing his play. Started changing who he was, right? He started changing what got him to the dance, right? What got him in there. Started changing it all.
Yeah.
And nothing started clicking. He was getting OB, double OB, triple OB.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're sitting there. Why is that? Why is it on the days prior, he wasn't on any card with anybody else, with these guys? Days prior, he's going so great, and they go there. The people that are at the top of the list, you got to understand, Simon's been in it for a long time, and he had his breakout year, got him a lot of confidence last year, and he's phenomenal. If you ever watch some of his crazy his putting was unreal. And you watch some of his crazy lines, the Simon lines and all that stuff, he's good. But if you ever watch him play, after last year, he has not thrown any of these wild shots.
Right.
Maybe he throws them to get out of certain areas because he has the ability.
Yeah.
But if you watch him, he played clean disc golf all weekend long.
Yeah.
Super clean. And he didn't change it for anybody. He didn't change it. He may have missed a putt or two, but he didn't change it.
Despite Paul's efforts.
Yeah, despite and that's the thing, is the mentality there.
Even Gannon, there's an intimidation factor.
There is. And the reason why I know this is because I face people in the ring and it happens. I have 15 minutes and I shut everything on. This guy's trying to punch me in the face and take bread off my table, and I'm doing the same. And I have 15 minutes of it. And it's everything all matters to this, so nothing goes in there. But if you have one bad thing in your head, it alters who you are. If you try to change what got you to the dance, it alters who you are. They have 15 minutes per hole almost. Mm-hmm. You know, they have 10 minutes per hole, whatever. It takes a long time. There's so much thoughts that are going through it. Every throw is going to be sitting there like, whoa. Go look at, let's go when Gannon won it, right? When Gannon won it in Austin or in Texas, whichever one it was. Went with Humphreys. I thought Humphreys had the win.
Yeah,
he had the win, 100%.
Yeah.
Gannon throws an immaculate shot, puts himself into birdie range, into Gannon's birdie range. And then all of a sudden, Humphreys throws it short, puts it OB, and has to make a par putt. That's ridiculous. And he was closer to the basket. Yeah. Gannon threw, that shot he threw was a massive shot off the tee.
Yeah.
And he did that on purpose because he needed the distance. He needed to get as close as possible to get himself in a range, but also put pressure on Humphreys.
I thought the putt on 17 was even more impressive. That up that hill that he made.
Oh, yeah.
That was insane.
That goes into him making that.
Yeah.
That also is putting
the pressure
mental.
back on.
Puts it over there like, oh shit, he just made that.
Yeah.
Like that's tough.
That's really hard.
You know, and that does go in effect, but the putts will answer for themselves. How do you get someone like flustered off the tee?
Yeah.
And it's like trying to find out those ways.
Yeah.
And he just threw an amazing shot, but if you watch. Even though that Humphreys threw a great shot, do you remember it went through the trees? It almost hit the trees. It went through the trees, snuck its way through. Like
right off the tee box. There was that grouping.
And he snuck it right through it.
He didn't hit his line.
He did not at all.
Yeah, no.
And that's the thing is like that's pressure.
Yeah.
And like that's how these guys have to win it. And the two people that I don't see crumble under pressure are Ricky and Paul.
Yeah. Well, so what are these two discs that you have up here?
These are my top discs right now. This is the Valerie Maldonado Scorch. This is something that I can throw, and it's been like a real good driver for me. I think in this Z plastic or this Jawbreaker plastic, this thing is one of the best out of the entire runs of all of it. For me, it flies so beautifully. I can get so much distance.
We know, and everyone will have seen it by now, I think, depending on how this edits, but you're throwing it over 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, this one.
So that's an 11 speed, -2.2.
Yeah, I'm throwing it pretty far. I don't know. I don't have my rangefinder because Ricky, but I don't know how far they're going. But I'm parking some long distance baskets, and it's been great, and it's starting to become more comfortable in my hand.
Have you thrown it up until the Jawbreaker?
No, I never had the Scorch.
Really?
Well, so they gave me, Discraft sent me Scorches, and I had a super sick one. It was all yellow with like this swirl plastic. I think it was a
ESP?
Yeah, it could have been. They sent me cool ones that don't ever have anything. I don't read the label. I just look at the cool pictures because, I mean, who doesn't? So it had that, and it was all this cool stuff, and I threw it in the woods somewhere, and I couldn't find it. But that thing was getting so much better and better for me. So when I asked him to send me one, I started getting I had the recycled Scorch. So they sent me out the recycled Scorch and everything, and I have a couple ones. One of her sisters as well. So I had hers, and I was throwing that for a while, and then they came out with this one. And for some reason, this Jawbreaker plastic feels so amazing in my hand. And the ground play is phenomenal. I get the perfect S shape with this, and I mean it's getting distance. I love this whole lineup. Perfect. And so like what I like the most is I throw bullets, right? So like when I throw, if you watch the video on my Instagram, I threw Ezra and Anthony Barella's tour series, and those are 13 speeds.
Yeah,
we got the Venom and the Nuke.
Nuke, yeah.
I threw myself out of my own shoes trying to throw this damn thing. So like we're going out there, and it might go to 300, but like it is there's no S shape unless I like put an ante on it. Even then, they're barreling down where I can actually throw that one, and I can throw it flat, and it gets the S shape, and then it goes there.
Yeah, those nukes are. Your arm really does have to be in that 70 mile an hour area.
Yeah.
to get that to really fly. This is one of the coolest jawbreakers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's Macbeth's.
Kratos.
Is that a Kratos?
Yeah. So these Kratos, so I putt with, like obviously all Discraft, and my other putter in here is the Paul Macbeth Crazy Tough Lunas. It's an understable, putter. So I normally, when I throw this, if I throw it off the tee, this thing is flying and it's pulling off to the left because it's understable.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure it out to where this one's more overstable for me. So now I can start throwing and parking baskets from the tee box that are 250 plus with just having a little bit of nose angle and having it there. And if I do overturn it and sometimes roll my wrist, I get the ability to where it comes out and it flattens out and it still pulls itself over and does a full line because it's understable. So I get the S with this on mess ups. Well, whereas if I throw that one, I'm either turning that thing into a roller or it's flying so far to the wrong direction. Yeah. So this Kratos has been one of my favorite putters to drive with, as well as like putting with, depending on like the wind. If I'm in a headwind, this is all day. But if I'm in a tailwind, I have to switch to my other. You
like the feel of that, huh? Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too deep.
It's not too deep. Yeah. So this one's pretty deep for me, and that's why I like it. So I can get a little bit more of a grip to rip out my.
That feels good.
My style, and then the thing is with the Z Flex, like it's so gummy.
Yeah.
All their discs are very gummy. Whereas like this Crazy Tough Luna, this thing ain't.
Yeah, no, it's not moving.
This ain't bending.
No.
So I can snap it on putts and everything.
No, that's a nice disc. It's a really nice disc. I know it's done well.
Oh yeah.
For Discraft and the store itself here, sell a lot of those.
Oh, they're amazing. And like, I stick with one brand. And I do that because when I was jumping around from brand to brand, I was telling you I would have a 13 speed and then I'd get another 13 speed or a 10 speed and switch it. It's a different flight pattern, different utility for it.
Yeah.
So like now I understand all my discs.
So it's making you way more consistent.
Yeah, making me consistent, understanding how to throw the shot. Like for the longest time with discs, we're talking about I'm throwing a 200-foot upshot and I'm grabbing an Undertaker, or I'm going to grab another disc like a Felon, right? One of Ricky's discs that he gave me for an upshot of 200. Like, why am I grabbing that? Like, I'm ripping that Felon so far.
Yeah.
And it's like, that isn't there. Now I know, like, oh, this 200-foot upshot, I can use my zone. I can flick my zone off to the side. I know it's going to bury it down. Yeah. Or I can use my buzz and throw it a little bit lighter to float it straight at the basket. Yeah. And it's like, this is way easier. Whereas before, I'm just grabbing a disc. I'm like, maybe if I do this, I have an obstacle here. It's like, I could throw it over this tree, hyzer it down, and crash in there.
Yeah.
Or I could just take a zone and keep it low and fly it straight there, and it would park itself. Or I take a buzz and throw it right under the trees. And it's just like it makes it
dialed in. You're getting dialed in.
And that's the hardest thing as a disc golfer.
I think so.
I have hundreds of discs.
And wait till you go up north. If you start playing at Flagstaff, none of this is relevant now.
None of it's relevant?
No.
Why do you say that?
Altitude.
I played in Denver.
Super. Well, there you go. You know.
Yeah.
Everything should be way more stable up there than it is.
My Avenger SS, I was ripping it. And I'm ripping it on hyzer and things flying straight, perfectly straight, just beating down. Everything's great. I'm like, hell yeah. Throwing my my nuke, just ripping it so far to the right and it's pulling itself over. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know I had understable discs.
Yeah.
I did not know because there's no such thing as understable out there.
Right.
So I'm ripping it and I come down here and I play Drew Gibson on a YouTube deal, and it's the first time I threw out here. And I'll throw one of them, and they're just, I was like, that disc's not understable. And they're like, well, you were playing with it in Denver, dude. Yeah. Like, altitude. It's stable.
It's really crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So I figured it out.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Cool.
So we could play around out there in Flagstaff.
Are you? Oh, I'm in. Are you going to play any tournaments?
No, I don't play tournaments.
All right. Cool. So
I played my first glow round the other day.
Oh, those are a blast.
Yeah, these guys came up to me when I was like trying to rush and had nothing planned. I was playing like when it started getting dark, and they came up and they're like, "Hey, man, you interested in playing Glow?" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. They're like, "Oh, this is what we do," and I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's like $10 to get in. I was like, "Absolutely, I'll play it." So I played the Glow round. We took second. Super cool.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah. Second's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. We were playing Glow doubles.
Yeah.
So it's even cool. Plus, at night, you're playing
Right.
disc golf, and it's
Right.
the first time I ever done it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
It is, isn't it? It's like the baskets all. If you don't know, the baskets are lit up.
Yeah.
So the tee box, you usually can see where you are, but you can see where you're throwing, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's ever too far away.
And these guys had like discs that were glowing in the dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, we saw them behind you.
I'm changing
Right there.
weight. I'm changing weight on mine because I'm taping a battery and a light onto it. So I'm throwing this on. My weights are way different, so everything changes. And if
Yeah.
you don't put it in the middle, when you throw your
Oh,
disc,
yeah, you're gonna
those,
throw
I
it
didn't.
off. Yeah. Yeah, for
You think
sure.
physics and common sense would come through when you're like, "Yeah, I'll play." And then on the bottom,
you
if you
knew
tape it on the bottom, it changes it just as well as if you tape it on the top.
Yeah.
You become more you become understable
Yeah.
on the top, and I found that out because I threw the Kratos. I was like, "Oh," and it went understable and it flew. But I don't play tournaments because I understand what it will do to me when I start playing tournaments.
Yeah, I hear you.
You just watch me throw a tech disc trying to beat 65.
It was crazy. I don't know. Maybe we'll edit it in fast motion just to get through it all. And we didn't even record it all. But you went after it like an animal. That was insane.
Yeah, I want to
It
break
was
that.
insane. So I get it. I
65.
totally get it. 65. Adam Hammes. 65.
That's just him telling me this. When I'm done with that, I probably won't ever touch that tech disc again.
No, yeah, you will.
You know?
Because you're going to want to get the angle perfect. You're
Maybe.
You're a perfectionist. You
Maybe.
can tell. And that's the cool part about it is you want to dial it in because if you figure out that if this is the arm speed I'm going to have, and I can change the angle and gain another 10 or 20 feet,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Just by changing your angle.
Yeah, that's huge for sure.
Was that crazy to see on last week in Nashville, that 1,200-foot par 5?
I thought it was awesome.
That's so great. I don't know why I like seeing that strategy of having to throw 3 shots to get to a basket.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I think the sport's kind of missing it.
The obstacles, like, look, let's be honest. Like, these guys are throwing. I thought the hole, it was like 275. They had to cut it through the woods. They had to flex the shot, and it came back, and they had to park it. It was so cool to see the different variations.
Yeah.
Coling through a roller. You never really saw anyone throw a sidearm. They were throwing flex to draw back to get there to park the basket. It was just like, that is very interesting to see how that disc flies.
Yeah.
But, like, let's be honest, 99% of us want to see Barella throw max power on a full distance 700, 360 shot all day.
Yeah.
So, like, when you have these 700-foot holes, but then you add the trees, the OBs, all these different variables, then you see these guys throw this powerful 400, 500-foot shot.
You want to shift gears and talk about what's coming up in June?
Yeah. So I signed.
Watch that chair, I'll get you.
Yeah,
Don't
they're
get
all
hurt
broken because of Ricky.
It's all Ricky.
Ricky and who'd you say, AB?
AB.
Yeah.
He was snapping it all night too.
Yeah, freaking children.
Children.
God. Now I'm over here in a chair. I'm falling all left and right.
Right.
June 8th, I'm fighting in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm fighting a guy named Zach Reese.
Yeah.
Super stoked, man. It's been a long time since, I fought in 2023 in March. I've had a lot of injuries, a lot of changes in life. I haven't won since 2022. And it sucks having 2 years of not winning and like having all this ability. I'm so excited to go out there.
Yeah.
I'm in the right place here in Arizona. The team is incredible at the MMA lab. Coach John Crouch is phenomenal coach.
I was going to ask
Randy,
where you are, so the MMA lab.
MMA lab. Randy is a great mitt holder. The team itself, you have high-end fighters there that are all there to help you and provide information, which we all have different styles and different deals and different fight IQs. So we're able to show each other different techniques, which are incredible. Like you get to see a different version, and it helps expand your IQ, helps expand your knowledge, your movement, and your power as well. So I'm super stoked, and I was expecting to fight inside of the Apex in Las Vegas. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a small card. The next thing you know, we're going to Kentucky. We're going to be at the KFC Yum Center.
Yeah.
In a massive center and a massive place to watch.
And they'll fill it.
Yeah, they'll fill it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing.
I mean, over there, like, how many people in, like, that Midwest area in Kentucky, like, they're all going to show up there. All the big cards are usually
100%.
out. Different states are on the coast, so now you have a card there in the Midwest. You're going to have people from Kansas City. You're going to have people from Alabama. You're going to have people from even
Nashville.
Florida there, Nashville. Everybody's going to come up there.
You bet.
They're all going to come up in that area, and they're going to be able to see it where it's just a couple-hour drive versus, a 24-hour drive. And, yeah, I'm so stoked. I'm stoked to be a part of it. I'm stoked to have another opportunity to go out there and shine. And I'm a performer, man. I enjoy performing in front of people. Plus, I enjoy this is who I am. This is where I want to be, man. Like, I enjoy punching people in the face. Like, let's be honest. How many times do you have your frustrations where you want to punch one of your coworkers in the face and, you hash it out every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you got one good old lick on me a week prior. When I get to go there, I get to punch you in the face, and I got that one back. I put that one in the freezer, and today I thought it out for you.
What do you think of hockey?
Hockey's cool. I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
It's different.
It is. I grew up around it, and being from Minnesota, and so it was definitely a part of that.
Yeah, those
right?
Yeah.
Guys are really aggressive. You're on the edge.
Do you remember Dodie Wood from Kansas City Blades? When Kansas City used to have a hockey team?
I know the Kansas City Blades, but Dodie Wood I don't.
Dodie Wood was he was a decent player, but he was aggressive. He was always the one that started the fights. I remember going there when I was younger with my mom, and we'd go and watch these fights, or we go watch these hockey, and I'm like, I don't care, where's Dodie at? Where's he at? And he'd just take off his gloves. Like, here we go. And he's pulling his shirt. 2 minutes in the penalty box. I'm like, that was the most exciting thing. I don't even remember if they won or not. I just remember him going out there throwing out.
Oh, man.
Dodie Wood.
I hope he sees this. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I used to watch that when I was younger. And then when I lived in Vegas, during the time the Vegas Knights actually got pulled over. So I was there during the time of their first couple of years.
Incredible.
So we all went there to watch it, and we're supporting you. So you're going to support what's in your city that you live in.
Right.
That
city really got behind that team.
Oh yeah, the city.
Fantastic.
That team is incredible. The team did what they did, and they're all replacements. Like they're all the second, third string of every other team, and they created a power team that
it was great.
Almost won it. You know how insane would that have been?
Out of the gate.
And then they ended up winning. Was it last year? They won it last year.
Won it last year.
And it's like, this team's such a young team.
Yep, could do it again.
So hockey's fun. I'll watch it. I don't die into it. I don't have all day.
Not like disc golf.
Disc golf, I'm all in. Football, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Especially, I spent, probably 28 years of being a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and it wasn't really uprising, and all of a sudden now we're doing good. So all those 28 years that y'all were talking trash on us, now it's my turn.
Not me.
Now
it's my turn. A fan. Vikings fan, and Kansas City was my backup, always my backup. So I've felt the success with you. Not to your level, but I felt it. It's great to see him win.
It's fun what it's done with the city,
Yeah.
It's fun what it's done. The city has changed so much.
Yeah.
And people around the city come into the city, and it's crazy how much a sport can alter your environment.
Unify.
Yeah, it changes everything.
That's great, isn't it?
Changes everything. And sometimes good and sometimes bad.
Yeah.
Look at Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas has started getting all these big sports, and everyone's there.
Yeah.
Vegas was already a spot everyone wanted to be at, but we're talking about everything's changed for them. Football, everyone's flying in. There's businesses that are thriving more and more because of it. Yeah. And it's a great.
It is. I love seeing it for Vegas too, and I wanted to ask you about Dana White.
Yeah, what about him?
Well, I don't know if there's anyone that can draw my attention like he can. If he's going to say something, I literally will stop whatever I'm doing to hear what he has to say, because I think he speaks the truth more clearly than 90% of the human beings I hear on all the other social platforms. I just feel as though he has your best interest in heart. He has his employees' best interest at heart. And he cares about the sport. He doesn't let all the other bullshit that comes into it or tries to get into it in. He puts it right where it needs to be in its place, and he lets everyone you be you.
Absolutely.
You're in the fight game. You do what you do, and you do it. And I don't know. I really respect that guy.
Dude, he's incredible.
He is incredible, isn't he?
He's incredible. He's powerful in his words. Yeah, he's very intelligent when it comes to business as well. But you got to understand, like, he doesn't beat around the bush.
Right.
He's not going to tell you. He's not going to sit there and joke around and stuff. He's going to be real. And like, there's only two people I've met that are like that: Andy Frisella and Dana. If you ever listen to Real AF podcast with Andy Frisella,
I haven't.
You should look into it.
Okay.
He's with First Form and everything. He's as real as they come. I want them two to sit down on a podcast and listen to him talk, because they speak the truth. Both of them do.
Right.
And Dana loves every one of his athletes. All these people are like, oh, this. You got to understand, like, Dana's in control of so much and has so much things he's working on and doing. He has teams that work for him to help him, right? And you have people on the outside that are in control of mics, and they decide to say things left and right. They decide to alter information. They decide to pick a fight and do things to make them look like the villain, because what is it that they do to get paid? They find inside scoops. They bring tabloids. They go, they're TMZs, wannabes. They try to find all this stuff. So they try to sit there and hinder and alter and break down people. And then Dana will tell you straight up, like,
right. He cuts right through it.
Go after yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. I have so much respect for him and what he's done to build this sport. I don't think anyone realized how much we would love it.
Oh man,
you're in it. I can't even understand what you do. I've seen you train, and I've seen all this preparation on the front end and you fighting. But for fans, I mean, we really do appreciate it and love it, and we know it's real. And I think that's the best part. It's
the realest shit in the world.
It's so real.
It's real. And like, dude, I've had conversations with him many times, and he's an awesome dude. He's a funny guy. He's a good person.
Yeah.
But you guys only get to see him when he's on the mic. And when we're on the mic, it's about business.
Yeah.
And it's about shutting down everything. And he's going to tell you if you're real or not. Yeah. And that's one of the coolest things in the world. Like, one of the reporters a while back, you had Sean Strickland fighting, and he's talking about, all sorts of things. It was in Canada, talking about all sorts of things. We're talking about every single topic that would get you canceled. Sean said it. Every single topic. We're talking about every little detail.
Yeah.
And a reporter went there and tried to call him out, and was like talking to Dana. Was like, do you allow your people and do you allow them to say this and talk about this, because the world is becoming a lot more soft nowadays, right?
Right.
And he's like, what do you mean? It's called freedom of speech.
Right.
The most American thing you can ever tell anybody from another country. I don't control anybody. They can say what they want to say. And then that reporter just got shut up.
Right. In that moment, he just diffused the whole thing.
Yeah. He's like,
yeah, it's so great.
And he sat there and he was like, there are people in the community that are on the card that don't have anything against him. They don't care what he says. They think it's hilarious. And they try to get him there, because at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is, the media is trying to grab a hold of topics, and then they're going to run with it to try to get people inside of those topics or have different beliefs, to try to say something to cause a tabloid, and the tabloid can then backlash on somebody else. It's like, no, that's not how you do it.
Right.
That's how you can get stuff for people for clickbait. But like, when you come up to someone like Dana, cut him off. Cut you right off. Now you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Now you can't ever ask another question, because you basically got caught trying to pull some stupid stuff.
Life doesn't get easier. You get tougher.
Yeah, it's the truest thing.
That was awesome. I read that and I just went like this back. I'm like, wow, that just hit me. That's exactly what happened.
It's the truest statement.
You have post after post where you're laying it on people that, It's really inspirational.
Yeah,
And I just want to say thanks.
thank you very much. I appreciate
cool.
that.
Yeah.
This is the thing: is social media is so fake. It's the dumbest thing in the world, and it alters our perception of reality, right? And so, like, social media is the worst, and it's all like when I tell you it's altered, you can see it in people. You can see it. Don't post this. We're getting banned. Like I just got banned the other day because I took a quote from what I thought was Winston Churchill. Thought it was that. I posted on Instagram. Instagram banned me. I'm banned on Instagram right now because I put a quote out there that I thought was Winston Churchill. If you go there on any tabloid or any like internet deal, you get the quote, you pull it, tagged it. I quoted him, said Winston Churchill, and it tells me that I made a quote that is misleading, and I'm banned.
Oh.
I have a 90-day ban on Instagram. Everything's faked and altered on there. People that post pictures on there, they're gonna show that they're in Dubai, living a dream and having the best life in the world when really they're working a 9 to 5, hating life, having struggles in the relationship. And it's there to where when you get to me, during the injury that I had, like I have to spend a lot of tough times with myself. And I had to figure out stuff. So I learned how to keep things real within myself.
Yeah.
And when I post things on social media, I post them as authentic as I can be. You may see a fun post here and there, but like when you read the stuff, it's me telling you guys exactly, what's going through my mind. It's exactly what happens. And at the end of the day, I could list you all the crazy things that's happened in my life in the past year, in the past 2 years. I've lost so much. Things have changed so much. People have changed so much to the point where like you become numb to it, and you become numb to the things around you because you have one thing in focus, the goal that you've been achieving since you were a kid, the thing that you set out to. And it teaches you, it does not matter what happens in life. Whatever happens in life, you'll only get tougher through it. It doesn't get easy.
Right.
It's always the same exact thing. And it's the truest statement ever.
Yeah. I loved it.
It's so true.
I loved it, man. And there's a lot more good ones on there.
Oh, thank you.
Go see.
Yeah, I'll be real.
Thanks for coming in. Good luck June 8th.
June 8th.
June 8th. Tune in. It's going to be great to see you fight.
Kentucky.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wishing you the best.
Thank you so much.
Right,
appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, everyone.
From that, basically, I was actually just having more of a nose angle problem. All right, keep going. Yeah, that was better. Yeah, that was a lot better. Yeah, that was almost 60. That's probably 1,000 RPM. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's 60.2, almost 1,100 RPM. You can see it all. What do they go to? 275.
I did it in the morning. I took the same amount of.
Hit my shoulder. I heard something. I don't know what was. Oh, that's good. What do we have right here? That's 56. So it went down a little bit.
That was.
No angle. 59.7. 60.5. Yeah, really good spin though too. No? 61.2. We ain't tired. Cover it down. 61.7.